Hey, what's up? It's Brian Lambert here, and this is Orchestrate Sales, bringing you the best tips and tools for building your influence within the complex and ambiguous business ecosystem you work within. And on this channel, we provide a lot of guidance and tips to help you elevate your impact, as well as strategy videos on how to build your influence in your company through systems thinking and a focus on why before what or how. So if you're new here, consider subscribing to this channel and make sure you leave a comment or two. I would love to hear from you. But hey, in this video, I'm actually responding to a question from one of our viewers about the best way to measure impact of enablement with sales teams. Let's get started with that great question and explore why before what or how. So why do you want to measure impact with sales? This is a good question, I think, because a lot of people measure a lot of things. There's a lot of things you can measure. But why are you measuring? Let's start with why. So when you look at enablement and its impact, there are a lot of activities, and those activities may or may not pay off for driving revenue with sales and partnering with them in order to have the right kind of conversations with the right kind of buyers. Now, a lot of activity can be focused on what you build and what you deploy and what you load and what you share and what you do. There's a lot of metrics around that in many organizations. Then there's a lot of metrics around what is the sales people, what are they experiencing? What are they downloading? What are they consuming? And what are they reading? And what are they clicking on? And those are a lot of different metrics, whether it's e-learning content or content in the knowledge management system, you know, the number of clicks and the number of downloads. So those are two buckets you can look at. But why measure impact? Are you trying to measure your ability to build stuff? Or are you measuring sales ability to click on things? Is that really the impact you want to drive in your function as enablement? So this is a great question. The question that is posed is, what's the best way to measure the impact of enablement? Well, if you're not able to answer the question of why you're there in the first place, you're going to measure a lot of different things. In enablement, you want to measure impact to sales conversations. So what would that look like? So let's explore that. When you look at sales results, there are a lot of different stages in the sales process. You can look at, are you getting access, are salespeople getting access with the right type of executives? Are they having the right kind of meetings? Are they able to build a proposal? Are they able to create a buying vision? Are they able to navigate their customers? Are they able to create a value-based proposition and bring people to the buying table in order to close the deal? So these oftentimes can be seen as skills, but from an enablement perspective, the ability for salespeople to have what they need and be supported in the sales process is very measurable. For example, what's the deal size, the average deal size across the different sales teams that you're supporting? How is enablement helping increase deal sizes? Another one could be sales cycle times. How fast are salespeople able to move deals and opportunities through the process? Do they have the information they need in order to create that buying vision, especially with so many people involved? Are they able to do that quickly? So what's the role of enablement in accelerating that cycle time? What about the close rate? Are salespeople able to close? You can look at it just as a skills thing while they're not negotiating, or you can ask, what's the role of enablement in improving close rates? What is the messaging there? What's the positioning there? How about the packaging and the ability to solution? How is enablement helping? So that's three ways that enablement impact can be measured. What's the deal size? How is sales enablement helping increase deal sizes? Cycle time, how are they moving sales processes through? And close rates. You can also look at, though, a lot of other variables, because if you look at enablement as a support function, providing content and skills and tools to help sellers have the right conversations. And it's not about necessarily telling salespeople what to do. It's about equipping them. So What do salespeople need to be equipped with? Well, they need to be able to be equipped to communicate value. So what's the role of enablement in equipping sellers to communicate value? Communicate value to who? What's the average of the cycle time, and how many people are they talking to? What are the buyer roles? When you think about the value of their accounts, is it clear what accounts they're working on? How is enablement providing that structure and clarity, and more importantly, aligning to the value-based message in each type of account pattern? You could also look at what's the role of enablement in increasing the volume of opportunities in the pipeline. Well, what's the role of enablement? And if you think about it, there's a lot that could be explored there. What are the example relevant deals? What are some recent wins? How is enablement helping bring that to life in order for salespeople to understand and see what options might exist for customer use cases? What types of deals? What types of total contract value and relationship customer value are salespeople able to drive because they have the right type of enablement in support of that? What about velocity through the sales process? Are salespeople able to navigate quickly? Do they have the right content, the right skills, the right tools to bring together 11 to 15 different buying executives? Do they think about it in terms of the content they have? Do they think about it in terms of process or steps? Do they need coaching? What is the role of enablement in increasing that velocity? Then you look at a couple of other things, which are around the idea of efficiency and effectiveness, productivity. What's the role of enablement in improving productivity of salespeople? Well, there's a lot of things there. Some of it has to do with removing complexity out and making things more effective for salespeople to get what they need. Some of it has to do with simplification and providing salespeople with actually less things that are more impactful. So how do you quantify that? How do you provide that value of providing the right type of content that salespeople need at the right moment with the right type of conversation in mind? You could also look at how expensive is the enablement function. What's the total cost of the enablement ecosystem? And how is enablement actually bringing the cost down and providing better, more relevant content, better and more relevant skills as inexpensively as possible? In other words, bringing the cost down but getting more value. How do you explain that? And when you think about these things, you think about it in terms of productivity. Are you doing what you need to do as an enablement leader to provide the process for your people, to provide the right type of discussion internally, to bring different perspectives together, and to simplify and do that with the right type of people internally, whether they're product teams or marketing teams or sales training teams or enablement teams or field marketing, bringing together all those different perspectives so that salespeople don't have to. And then flipping that into some sort of output or some sort of action that salespeople can take. And how do you support that? So when you look at it, you can look at the impact of enablement as supporting the effectiveness, the efficiency, the value, the volume, and the velocity of sales teams and how they're meeting with and partnering with their clients. You could look at deal sizes and cycle times and close rates and look at how that's happening for the different sales teams that you support, because not all sales is the same. So are you able to get some clarity on maybe supporting strategic accounts and how that might be different than named accounts or key accounts or geographic accounts or perhaps a SDR team? Each of these patterns of relationships are going to have different needs, and the enablement team needs to be able to scale across all those needs in order to tailor the right type of enablement support for these different relationships that your company has with buyers and customers. So the key is to start outside in, to think about customer view, think about segmenting out the relationships that you have with your customers, and then thinking about the role of enablement in improving the productivity and the speed and velocity, volume and value of deals through the pipeline, and being very clear on what the impact of enablement is and what your scope is. That's a business conversation that you can go have internally, not only with other enablement team members, but with leaders across the organization to explore what's the role of enablement. It's a support function. It's an enabling function. What's the value of it? How would you measure that? So that's some food for thought to think about as you look at why it's important to measure the impact of enablement. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you found this valuable, and check out the next video.